Good morning. It's Monday again. Back to work and time for Monday night predictions. Now, normally I've got a lot of stuff based on the week chat that's been going on to help me base my prediction on. This week has been a bit of an odd one, though, because with all of the stuff that's been going on in the background that I've covered in some of the other videos, we have decided that the current Monday night campaign, this will be the final arc. We are basically wrapping it up, finishing the story, and we're going to start a new game. There will be some videos coming up in the near future about the new game. In fact, I might use the second half of this week to kind of go through my world and talk about some of the design aspects I've chosen there. But that means that there's been less chatter about the old game because they've been distracted. Now, early in the week, though, there was one big piece of discussion, which is the whole event with the Frost Giant. Basically, they had the encounter with him, they left him behind, they found out that he was back in the same area their ship was in, and half of the group wants to go kill him, half of the group wants to go talk to him. Currently, as that has been left, unless someone objects in character when the session starts, the captain has decided that she is going to go back and speak to him on her own, with possibly the promise of bringing him to Osterna. Now, this could be both a blessing and a curse for them. The thing is, Godric knows the history of Osterna well. Whereas Ferris, the giant who's with them now, he's the grandson of one of the Titans who left Osterna. And the players don't know this yet, obviously. They won't be watching this till after the game. Godric actually grew up in Osterna. I mean, he was a child when he left, but he has actually been there. There's a bit of oddity that went on, but basically, the backstory for him is that his father was actually a Citadel guard. He grew up in a privileged position within the city. He was there when the Storm King died. I mean, not in the room, but in Osterna when it happened. And as things began to go south, his father abandoned his post and took him away. Now, through some bizarre stuff in the plains, he didn't pass time the same way most people do. So he's not actually as old as being from Osterna would seem to make him. He, in effect, spent part of the time in stasis. But yeah, that means that actually he has, I mean, they are childhood accounts. They're not perfect recollections, but he has actual memories of the place. And not only that, but he has his father's journals, which detail the day-to-day running of the palace, the different security protocols that he had to go through, the different what's the word I'm looking for? Rituals and pathways that were required to move around in Austerna. And that would be amazing knowledge for them to have. The issue is that he has already told them that the old man is not his king. And I have a feeling that they've taken this much more simply than it actually is. Because what Godric actually means by that is he's uncrowned. He's failed to take responsibility. And Godric basically is saying that if he's not going to take the crown, if he's not going to be our king, I'm not going to listen to him as if he was. It's really that simple. You know, he abandoned us. He was there on the day, and this is all what he's heard from his father. His father was very bitter about the whole thing. His father was actually there when it happened. Probably one of the only people that could have given a first-hand account. But basically, the bitterness of he was there, he was in a position that had he just taken the throne, no one would have doubted it, no one would have questioned it, and Austerna would have had a king. It wasn't the old king, wasn't the king they were used to, but they would have had a king. Instead, he refused. He would not take the crown. And even though everyone acknowledged him as king, he wouldn't accept it. And that has fostered a bitterness, a kind of bitterness that only a frost giant can foster. So, yeah, that could be an awkward meeting. Could prove very awkward. But it would get them to Austerna, the city, it would get them to Vonenheim faster. It would mean that they would have to go through less of the trials of Austerna to reach Vonenheim. And I think that's going to take up a lot of the evening, is getting to him, talking to him, finding out what's going on, getting back. If they do choose to undertake any of the trials to gain some sort of recognition of their own, that will take up some time. If they go straight to the city, that's when they'll actually then start uncovering what the hell's going on. So I'll run it down. If any of my players get to this point in the video, and after the game session you have not yet reached the throne room at Vonenheim, switch off now. Stop watching. Only watch this part if you've already had an encounter in the throne room in Vonenheim. Okay. They should have switched off by now. I've given them enough warnings. So, once they reach Vonenheim, what they're going to find is that Old Man Winter finally has taken the throne. Now, what they're also going to find is that the reason Austerna is like it is, i.e. frozen, is because the throne has been calling for, summoning, reaching out to Old Man Winter. Spelljammer. And unbeknownst to most of the giants, because they would consider him an outcast if they knew, he is not a pure breed. I've described him to the players before as a cloud giant, but with some of the coloration of a storm giant and a little of this and a little of that. And what they will eventually maybe discover, I don't know if they will actually, I don't know how they will get it out in conversation, but what's happening is that he is actually the son of a cloud titan and a frost titan, but his frost titan mother, wanting to imbue him with power and being very magically inclined, managed to infuse her infant son with the blood of a storm titan. So he is a cloud frost titan with the power of a storm titan. And that is why this icy storm has rolled out across all of Austerna. The throne has literally tried to respond to the blood of its recognized king and attempted to remake Austerna in an image that he would find pleasing. Now, because the throne was never built to respond to a half-breed, much less a altered half-breed, it's failed miserably. And what it's tried to do is create this iciness, this cold that has been magnified by all of this other power and has flash frozen everything. The entire population of Austerna is frozen. And only now that he has taken the throne, has a little pocket in the eye of the throne room started to thaw. The issue is that Spelljammer, having seen the outside world now, has realized that what he always feared about the giants, he had always feared the giants becoming conquerors. He had worried that the old king would turn the giants to conquering the small people. And that was always his worry. But in recent years, he's kind of reluctantly started to change his mind, because he's realized that there are forces out there that will always conquer the small people. And a little bit of his mind has started to wonder, if they're going to be conquered, would it at least not be better if we conquered them and treated them fairly? So, we've got Sanshara at Brawl with the Rod of Law. We have the Devils attacking. The group don't know it yet, but the Vidoni have also started an invasion push. And Spelljammer has put out a call to the Giants. Part of why Ferris's ring was glowing. Calling them to war. They also probably won't become aware of it, but Shaluth, the Illithid, has put out a call to what little is left of her people, and they're trying to gather allies as well. What we have is all of the major forces of law in the galaxy, all gathering for war. And all of this spins out of the previous campaign, where the group used a perfect wish to seal away the old ones and the most powerful forces of chaos. With chaos weakened, law is rising up. But it's not all the same law. So they're going to end up having to choose sides. Which army do they side with? And I don't figure they'll get any further than that, so I'm going to leave it there today. Have a great day. Like, subscribe. It really helps out. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow.